Hi, in this video we're going to walk you through the different functionalities and capabilities as instructor to create an effective virtual classrooms on Laimoon Classroom platform. When you start or join the classroom, you will be asked to choose how you want to join this classroom. You can choose microphone or as a listener only. If you selected the microphone, you will be asked to do a quick echo test to test your microphone access and audio quality. If you are doing this for the first time, your browser will ask you to grant access to the browser to access your microphone. In order to do the echo test, say a few words, and if you hear them back, then everything is okay. If you encounter any issue with the connection, you can try several things to troubleshoot this. First, make sure your microphone is connected and plugged correctly. Then, try by refreshing the page and rejoin the meeting again. If it didn't work, make sure your browser has the access to the microphone that you have. And you can verify that by going to the settings of your browser and then search for microphone. And make sure that microphone is selected and the domain classroom.laimoon.com is allowed to access your microphone. If everything's okay, press yes and you are good to go. When you join, you will see the presentation area here on the right. The public chat is visible by default. You can toggle that. Here on the left, you will see the list of users that you have in your classroom. Any user with the square icon is an indicator that this user is an instructor, and all your students will have a circle icon. While you are talking, you will see an indicator on your username, and also in the main area, anyone is talking, his name will appear here on the top. You can mute yourself by clicking on this icon mute and unmute back. If your students mute themselves, you will see a red icon indicates they are muted, and if they are unmuted, you will see a green icon. Also, if you want to mute any user, press on the username and then click on mute user. You can do the same thing by clicking on the manage user icon and then mute all users except presenter. This is very useful if you have so many students and you want to eliminate the background noise they have. If any student join with listen only, you will see this icon. In addition to that, you can restrict your students' permission by going to manage users and then lock viewers. Here you will see a list of permissions you can disable and activate based on your preferences. For instance, if you don't want any of your students to share their webcam, you can restrict this feature by disabling it and then click on apply. You can undo this action per user by going to the username and then click on unlock then the username. Or you can undo this action for all users by going to lock viewers and then activate this back and hit apply. If you allow sharing webcams, your students, including yourself, will be able to activate it. Your student's webcam will appear here on the top, and you can activate yourself by pressing on the button below the presentation area called Share Webcam. When you press on that button, this pop-up will come to ask you which camera you want to activate. If you have multiple cameras, you can select one from this drop-down. And then you can choose the quality of the video sharing. Once you're done, click on Share Now. When it's ready, your webcam will be available at the top and all your students will be able to see it. You can disable that back by pressing on the button again. In order to focus on one webcam, you can maximize the window by pressing on this icon to activate the full screen. You can exit that by pressing on escape button or by pressing this icon again. Also, if you need more focus, you can hide the presentation area and just focus on the webcams of your classroom. You can restore back the presentation area by pressing this button here. As the instructor, you can start recording the session by clicking on Start Recording button, and a message will come here, and you can disable that back or pause the recording, and you can resume the recording back or stopping it again as many times as you want during this session. Let's talk about the presentation area. Here in the middle, you will be given an empty PDF to start with, and you can upload your own PDF, which we will look into in a minute. And here on the right, you have few tools to get started. You can use the pencil. You can have mathematical shapes, and a text area. You can remove the content by clicking on Clear on Annotations button, and you can activate the multi-users whiteboard by clicking on this button. Now everyone have the ability to participate and draw on the main area. You can disable that back by clicking on the button again, and you can clear the content by pressing the delete button. On that note, since it is very difficult to write or draw using the built-in pad of your laptop or any external mouse, we do recommend few solutions to get the best experience. The first one, if you have already an iPad with pen, you can start the session from the iPad and use its pen to draw on the screen. However, if you don't have one, you can get an external stylus pen similar to the one on the screen, and we do recommend this type. On top of that, if you want to achieve a very high quality audio, we do recommend to buy an external USB microphone similar to the one in the slide, or any other professional microphone. Now let's talk about the actions that you can do as the instructor. Go to the plus button, you will see 3 actions. You can start a poll, upload a presentation, or share an external video. Let's start by uploading a presentation. I already have one PDF which has 1 slide. You can have as many slides as you want, no limit there. Select the file and then click on upload. Now the PDF I shared here, it has 1 slide only, and on that slide I have this question. And because this question contains multiple answers, the system smartly detects that this is a polling question and give you this quick poll action to start with. Or you can go to the plus icon and then click on Start a Poll, and you choose the option that you want, or you can customize it. Let's choose back the quick poll action. This will prompt all students to answer the question. Once you get the results here, you can publish that on the whiteboard, and you can delete that by clicking on the clear button. Now let's talk about the third action, which is sharing an external YouTube video. Here you just put the URL of the video, I already have one, and then you press on share a new video. That video will be played and paused according to your actions with all your students. So it's really handy. You can disable that by going back to the actions and then stop sharing external video. Also, if you are the instructor, you have the ability to share your screen by clicking on the share screen button at the bottom. This will ask you to specify how you want to share the screen. You can share the entire screen, or the application window, or maybe just one Chrome tab. Let's say this second tab. You can stop sharing the screen by pressing again on the button Stop Sharing Your Screen. That's cool. Let's see one more example by sharing the entire screen, which can be very helpful to share your work to your students in the classroom. You can be more creative here than sharing your presentation slides. To activate that, press on the button again, and this time choose sharing the entire screen. Select the screen and click share. If you notice, this repeated pattern starts to show, and that's because that I'm viewing my shared screen. So you can ignore it and go directly to the application that you want. Now this is what your students will see. Once you're done, you can stop it again. And if you want your students to share their screen and see what they are doing, you can go to the student's name and make them as a presenter. You can also have the ability to put your students into breakout rooms. To do this, click on Create Breakout Rooms. Then the pop-up shows the list of students and the number of rooms to be created and the duration in minutes. You can specify the number of rooms from the drop-down and the duration using this input. You can let your students to choose the room they want. Also, you can drag and drop few students into several rooms or assign them randomly by pressing on this button. Let's change this to 1 minute and click on Create. Here, you can see the list of rooms created, and you can join any room fully or by audio only. Once you do that, the system will redirect you to the selected room, just like your students. Here again, you'll have the same functionalities as before. Once you're done, close the tab and you're back to the main room. If you decided to end the breakout rooms before the end time, you can do so by pressing on End all breakout rooms. You can also change the settings of your view area by pressing on Option then Settings. Here, you can select the display language and set the other options based on your preferences. To apply the changes, press Save. And finally, once you're done, you can end the session with your students by pressing on Option, then End Meeting.